In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, I convey my humble greetings to all our present here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. On behalf of the Research Committee, welcome to all coming for today's workshop on topic thesis dissertation writing, organized by the Quality Circle of Research and Thesis. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah, the God promises. To begin the innovation with Almighty's grace and mercy, may I now invite Ms. R. Fatima of Second Americans to reveal the blessings of the Almighty. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, the most compassionate, taught the Quran, created humanity, and taught them speech. The sun and the moon traveled with precision. The stars and trees bowed in submission. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Thank you for the beautiful recitation. May I now invite Dr. Sethi Mori, the research coordinator of the Quality Circle of Research and the assistant professor of computer science, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning to the respected principal ma'am, staff members, esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Pennan Chinnasamy sir, and students. I feel privileged to welcome everyone here. I would like to thank our management and our beloved principal ma'am for giving me the opportunity to welcome the gathering for this one-day workshop on effective thesis or dissertation writing for PG students and publication of research papers in Scopus index journals for staff members. I would like to welcome our Vice Principal of Academics, Vice Principal of Administration, HODs, and faculty members of various departments, Controller of Examination, and PG students of this esteemed institution. I extend my warm welcome to our Honorable Guest of Honor, Dr. Pennan Chinnasamy sir. I welcome you, sir. He completed his master's degree in physics from Wesleyan University, Connecticut, US, followed by a doctoral degree with focus on hydrology from Missouri University, US. After his research fellow position with Ashoka Trust for Research in Ecology and the Environment, he joined the International Water Management Institute as a researcher, geohydrology and remote sensing. He is currently working as assistant professor with Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, under the Center for Technology Alternatives for Rural Areas Department, where his work primarily focuses on natural resources assessment, monitoring, and management in rural regions. He is the founding director of the Rural Data Research and Analysis Lab, which is the first big data lab for rural regions housed in an academic institution in India. He is also an associate faculty with the Interdisciplinary Climate Program and Policy Study in IIT Bombay. Pennan sir is also a visiting professor with University of Oulu, Finland. Finally, I would like to say that may everyone improve their research skills by the ideas to be shared by our resource person. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, working together is a success. Research Committee, in association with IQAC, organized this one-day workshop to enhance the research paper writing skills for both the staff and students. Last but not least, I welcome one and all present here. I would like to invite our beloved principal ma'am to deliver the presidential address. Thank you.
The name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful. At the outset, let me convey my salams to all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon all of us on this occasion of this one-day workshop organized by the Quality Circle for Research in Association, the Internal Quality Cell of our institution. Really, we are honored on behalf of the management that Dr. Chinnasamy, the Director of Rural Data Research and Analysis Lab from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, has agreed to chair this session with his in-depth knowledge on data and how we have to carry out our research activities. In particular, this college is located in a rural, most backward rural area of Ramanathapuram district, and a coastal town having so much of resources to be digged in. And I wish that our research scholars and faculty members of this institution will come forward in identifying the possible areas of research in our coastal region, and let us also be a member and be a part of Dr. Pennan Chinnasamy, who is the director of the Rural Data Research and Analysis Lab, which is the first big data lab for rural regions, housed in an academic institution in India. Really, sir, we are honored and proud to be with us. We're proud to be a part of this session, and we will continue our association with you in future also for our research activities. I hope you will extend all the possible support to make our students a vibrant researcher, our faculty a vibrant faculty in research areas, which is very, very essential for any institution in higher education, so that we can do a lot of improvement for national development. I wish that these two sessions will yield a big analysis in doing our research activities and how we have to publish in Scopus index journals. And most of the teachers are very middle level juniors and seniors who are here before you. I hope the session will help us in improving and performing well in research activities of this institution. Thank you very much. I welcome once again Dr. Pennan Chinnasamy and all the students and faculty members of the institution. I am very happy to be present here. I wish that this session will be more interactive after his presentation. Over to the organizers. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. At this auspicious occasion, may I now request our respected chief guest, Dr. Pennan Chinnasamy, Director, Rural Data Research and Analysis Lab, and Assistant Professor of Center for Technology and Networks for Rural Areas, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, to begin the technical session now.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks to all the delegates who introduced me and spoke about this workshop. I'm very happy to be associated with your college, and I hope this session would, trigger some interest with people on how to write and get a good name for themselves, the college, and also the work they do. I'm just checking my mic. Am I audible? Yeah. Sorry. Can you hear me? Everything is clear?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Is it working? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. So just let me know when I could start, and then I'll share my screen. I think I'm disabled to share the screen. So if you can give me permission to share, I'll start. It says share screen is disabled, so you have to allow me to share.
Sir, you can share your screen, sir.
Can you see me? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I've also given a copy of this to the organizers. So please let me know if there's any questions. I'll just put my video down. And again, thanks once again to all the invitees, the delegates, the principal for having me here. It's a very important topic that we would cover. And so I want to make it, as we do it in IIT, like very interactive, so that I'll stop now and then and ask for questions, comments. Please feel free to ask. Tamil கேட்கணும்னு கேட்கலாம். So don't hold yourself. Please ask the questions if you have. Okay. So with that, I'll just start, and then for just now, I'll turn off my. If you don't mind, I'll turn off my video. Can everyone see the slide? Is it okay? Okay. So good morning, everyone again. So what we'll cover today is we will look at writing skills which are very, very needed for thesis for students and publishing in index journals for faculty and students. So let's go in. The outline would be today we'll have a small introduction about myself, which I think most of it was given, but I'll share something which is much more needed for this workshop, like which is not given to everyone. Why do you need publications? I think my personal aspect is it'll be shared, but I think it has been successful for a lot of people, my students and all. So I think that is needed. How, where, and with whom can you start? So this question is for students and faculty. Where do you start? How do you start papers, and whom to start with, and publish correctly? I've seen recently after I came back, a lot of faculties have published. So there are some issues in it. We'll go through that. Identifying correct journals. Again, you've done all the hard work, so you have to publish in a very good journal. And then reviews. What you get in when you go into these papers, like when you publish, you have to be prepared mentally also, like how long it will take. It will take more than a year sometimes. So those processes we'll go through, and I'll conclude again, wrapping up. Again, it's a long session, 2 hours they've given me. And if needed, please stop me in between. We'll have a break now and then. Thank you. Okay, so my personal introduction, I started with physics, as it was clear. And I did my bachelor's, master's once here in Chennai, and then went to US for my degrees in hydrology, etc. Right? So if you look at it, until my education, it was only Madras University. The colleges in US was not, top ranked. So what do you see different is after I got back and I started as a research postdoctoral fellow in A3. Let me turn on my pointer. Okay. So so when I started my post, this is when I came back to India. I didn't work in the US. I just came back after my stint. So then I started working here. And what has changed from the above to here is my papers. So that is where I share with people like how you should effectively write. It's like branding yourself. It is like advertising yourself. and then working in other institutions. So of the list, only NTU is big. Others are very, very small institutions. So don't worry where you start from. So the lesson is, don't worry where you start from. What do you do is very, very important. Okay. I was from Vivekananda College in Chennai, and then went to US for my masters. So no top school. I'm very, very honest about it. My studies, everything was in a very normal school. But you have to work hard, and then that's where you have to build a name. So don't take any opportunity as not relevant. Okay. So what helped me was a strong fundamental base. So whatever you learn, very thoroughly learn it, very basics, even the basics, and be honest with it. What do you learn? That only you should write. And that has transformed into research papers. Very, very important is single author papers and first author papers. So between students, between faculty, you should plan like a team where one person writes a paper and others collaborate, and then you have 3, 4 authors in one paper. And then the first round, one person takes the lead. The second round, another person should take the lead. So those kind of things, so that you have multiple papers, multiple collaborations, and always publish in good journals, not ready to make journals and those kind of journals. I'll come through that database soon. Okay. Research projects, and because of my fundamental base, I could write research papers. Again, from fundamental base is what you learn from college. And then when you go to research papers, it is purely what you did in your thesis, what you did in your research, etc. There's no money involved. So from 1 to 2, there's no money involved. And based on the papers, you get projects, because you start to use these papers as a visiting card. See, sir, I've written these papers. Do you want to work together? So those kind of things you can ask when you go to conferences, and slowly people get to notice you. So once in a conference, you will have to go and give papers. In 2, 3 years, they will say, Penin, I read your paper. It was good. It was not good. Those kind of things. That interaction happens. Okay, so please write papers and research projects. You will get field work. You can do a lot. You can also be asked for co-authoring proposals. Like people read your paper and say, okay, this is a good paper. Let's author as a co-guide or co-PI in the proposal. Regular free time work. I used to have paper writing as a hobby. So make sure you set time for it. You can start slow. It's okay. Like how you play, any sport you like, or you like to watch a movie on your phone or your laptop. Set 1 hour at least per 3 days, or I normally do Saturdays like 3 hours to read papers. So just read, and then slowly you will get into the habit of writing these good papers. Okay. And this is my index. And if you see that nothing from top schools, nothing from top professors, but the total number is good, and the citations are good. So the point is, like, sometimes you get easy papers because of where you are. For example, in IIT, you'll get easy papers because the brand is good. People trust IIT. But when you start in a small school, like how I started, you will not get that many papers. So slowly at least build that number. Count is important, and good journals are important. Okay, so research publication need. Let's first clear why we need papers. Potential for better recognitions for university and faculty. We should, as faculty, we should try to encourage students to write. And they're very, very sharp. They're very smart. So they will think of good ways to write papers. And that helps in rankings. So if you look at any rankings and why IIT Bombay is #1 in India, you will see papers playing a big role in it. Okay? So student intakes for research teams is very, very important. As I said, they work smart. Students are very smart. They don't work hard, but they work smart, which means they'll find ways to do the work quickly. And some of them really want the papers. So those kind of papers, identify them. This is for the faculty. And faculty should lead the research program. Like, for example, Madam was saying, a lot of issues in your belt, a lot of rural and environmental issues. So please take them up. And those are very important, because even if I take them up, I will not be able to do justice. I cannot do good work. Only you can do good work, because you are located there and you know the people there. So you will know how the rural environment is, and how the background is, everything. Small but focused research teams, startups and entrepreneurs. This can also lead to startups and small companies. So make it as a small focused research. When I say focused, it is focused on the region where you are, and so that you know how many people are going to get affected. Scientific, professional, and personal growth is very important for faculty and university, and don't separate both. When you grow, the university grows. The same thing happens for the university also. When the university grows, the faculty grow. So make sure you understand that yes, papers are for you also, but you can also show that in your university for rankings, NACC, accreditation, etc., etc. Even for collaboration, the first thing someone would do is Google you. Okay, they'll Google you and see how many papers you have, where did you publish. So, and right now we cannot hide anything. So even if you like it or not, Google will have your papers, and it will tell you how much of those papers are correct papers and how much are predatory journals or bad papers. So it will tell correctly. And so when I see a collaboration invitation, and when I Google them and see the papers are not in a good journal, then I will stop and think should I work with them? So those kind of things. Okay, so be very careful, because everyone knows Google is getting into your databases in terms of papers and stuff. So let's be honest here. Be very careful. This will lead to national and international collaborations. So those both of them would happen a lot. So you see a lot of foreign universities coming and doing research in India, especially Ganges. In the north, they do a lot, Himalayas and Mumbai floods, Kerala floods. Why can't our guys do it? Is it very rocket science? It's not. It's because we don't have the papers to support it. So you can be collaborations with these kind of people if you write a lot of papers. So realizing what is available at college and university. Students, I say students are the biggest strength of any academic institution. Because faculty, they it's a mutual relationship. So when students are showing the interest, faculty show the interest also, because faculties have a lot of other work to do, management. Like now I'm here in gate duty, which is I have to do it, right? You as an IIT faculty, you have to go conduct gate exam. So I'm here today. So those kind of things we are constructed and stuff. So students are the strength for writing papers and research. And students are smart. As I said, they think different, they think outside the box. So that is needed for these papers. Respect in society would grow with university rankings, papers and stuff. And networks will grow in the government. Media gets very, very interested if you publish good papers. I'll show you some of them. And for faculty, this is very important, as I said. So the available resources are plenty in a university system. It is, I urge the principals and the management to give some kind of incentives to people who write papers. Okay, so maybe to start, and then it will become a habit. It's a good investment. Just say that this happens in China. So when I was hired for a faculty position in China, they told me, sir, you don't have to do big teaching and all. Just write 10 papers per year. And per paper, you get $1,000, something like that, they said. And I was like, what, just papers? Yeah, so just papers, because science is very good in China, but they cannot write it in English when I was applying. So the same thing, the incentives help a lot. So they know how to incentivize. So here you can have, it could be money, it could be promotion, it could be, recognition in front of the people that this professor or student has done very good work in papers, etc., etc. So student power is important. Please understand that you should use them wisely, and it grows like a tree. So if one student and faculty publish a paper, then they'll go to another collaborator and publish, but still they will have the association with the previous university. So I still write papers with my faculty in my PhD, which is 10 years ago. So that association is beautiful, and you carry it along. Okay. So faculty student publications, students are creative, as I said, and smart. They think outside the box, want to develop their skills and CV. If you look at student CVs right now in LinkedIn pages, it's much bigger and better than mine. So because they know how to market and all those kind of things, they have the time. So they will think what is needed for their CV. They work smart versus hard, can be focused on specific issues. This focus on specific issues is important for them to, like in places like rural villages and stuff, where no one wants to come and work, but your university is there. So they can easily work and focus on these kind of issues. not expensive, can be explorative. These publications are not to be costly. You have to explore which are free. There's a lot of free papers, and then journal through conferences. So please understand that you don't have to spend money, but a lot of time and effort. And you build a continuity. So one student would write one paper regarding, let's say, coastal problems in your region, the people problems in your region, and the student passes out and graduates. Then the second student will come and continue the paper. So they'll write the second paper based on it with the same faculty. So you see how the continuity is there in papers, as long as the faculty pushes in the right direction. So that is where I'm saying faculty should be kept very interested in this. Some faculty should be identified who can keep writing for the university, for the faculty. And then give them incentives, etc. Is it difficult to find such students, is my question. Are students difficult? Like, I'm asking too much, they have to write papers, they have to do this. I had an intern in IIT Bombay, and again, I'm not picking an IIT student. Just clearly look where the student is. The student is from COEP, which is a College of Engineering, Pune. And it's about their interest. When they came as an intern in, I think 2018 they came. Yeah, 2018 they came for 2 months, Vaishnavi and Ambadas. They are a bachelor student in College of Engineering, Pune. And they sat with me and wrote down this paper. Okay, so I did most of the work and lead, so I put my name in the first, but also so that they can get this paper easy because IIT professors writing, right? So, but again, it got accepted, and it was big for them, the students. Okay, so, and it was just bachelor students, and this paper is now being discussed in Indian Express. A lot of multiple news channels were covering this on news. So it was a very simple idea. Just look at Kerala floods and what has to be done, and then we wrote it down very well. The other point to understand is at their age and their background, so bachelor's and master's level, how many papers did I have? 0. Okay, so but these students have papers. So that is how smart students are. Students are very hardworking. It was proud to see that these interns got papers even before their masters. My first paper came only after my PhD. So even during my PhD, I didn't have papers. There was not people to guide me properly on papers and stuff. So they don't care, right? So here you have to take care and concern. And branding is important. So here is where, as I said, it could be one reason why papers pick it up is IITB is there. But if you look here clearly, it is not a top school, the students. It's not even my students. Like, these are interns from College of Engineering, Pune. So COAP is where Vaishnavi and Ambadas were, and I'm from IITB. So think very clear, it's doable. It's only like the faculty needs to be very interested, supported by the institution. So I'll tell recommend institution to have 1 or 2 identified faculty for papers and let them write papers. So maybe some management load can be reduced and papers can be made. And then newspaper channels will just pick it up. So COAP is now on the news because of this paper. So they're very happy and they invited me and all this stuff. So, okay. So writing research papers. So now we'll get into how to get into important, to get projects. Papers are very, very important projects. Updating science and research, because when you write, you are updated on the time, and when you publish, you are current, researcher. So it keeps you updated. Gets recognition for faculty and college. Need to be careful with predatory journals. I'll go and experiences. There's lots and lots of bad journals. We'll show you how to do it. Okay, so now you know that paper is very important. So first 10 slides, I was explaining why papers are important for the college, the faculty, and the student. But because of that, there's a big business outside where they just publish crazy and then take your money and publish. So anything can be published. You write something tonight, tomorrow it will be published. Is that a publication is my question. And that is where I'm saying Google catches all this, okay? And then it will catch and put it in your CV. So when you give a CV to the employer, this also goes in accidentally. So what has this created? All this publication and how the publication is tied. There is a word called publish or perish. This is mostly in Western countries, where if you don't write papers, you die. So that is the word, the understanding of this, right? Publish or perish. So if you're in a system and you don't write papers every year, you will be sidelined by the system. Like if it could be in a university, research institute, NGO, you have to keep writing. Otherwise, they'll kill. It's kind of killing. It's called, okay, publish or perish. And because of that, there's so much stress on the people. So there are some faculties I know, like every single day their work is to only write papers. They go to the university, sit, write, but then they get exhausted. Okay, so there should be a balance. Don't overdo it, and it is very, very a struggle, a stress in universities ranges. And this has happened even to the great scientists. So not all were successful when they published. Just take a look at some of the Nobel prizes that people have won. If you ask them the first time they published a research, it was rejected. The same concept which got the Nobel Prize was rejected. So don't get disheartened by, oh, my paper is rejected, I'm not a good scientist. No, the venue is not good, or maybe that particular reviewer did not like you, so, or the paper. So keep pushing, keep confidence. Unless and otherwise it is total disaster, you have to redo the paper. There are venues for papers. Okay. So it's also important to build CV. Then publications, as I said, has to be at least two, or at least impact. Nowadays it's okay to have 0.5 to above 0.5 is okay. So at least in my team, 2 is good number. Patents, etc., are also under the publication domain. When people search your name, patents also come in. Document everything, whatever you write in your CV. So you have to document everything, and all this is writing, right? Grants, teaching, conferences, workshop, program development. Like today, we organize a workshop. Someone would have written everything, documented. So document everything and write a report, so that goes very well in your CV, so that you organize this kind of workshop. Okay. So projects, what was done, how the projects. So if you look at your CV, there's a lot of places where you have to extensively write. So with that, writing skill is not different from a grant to a research paper. It all is science. So understand that once you get into the habit of writing, then you will get more and more opportunities, and your CV would be much better. Okay, so I'd just like to stop and see if there's any questions. Is there any questions, comments, concerns? Hello? I can't see my video. Just a second. For some reason. Are there any questions, or should we just continue? Are there any questions, or could you hear me? Yeah, you can also chat in the chat box. I'll just, okay, so everyone is saying just continue. So let me continue. Okay. Yes. Okay. So there are a lot of cautions that you need to exercise, and one of them is very, very important. Check for decent, good journals. Okay, your hard work can be wasted. That's why it's called predatory journals, which means they eat your journals alive. So it's like killing your journal, your writing. So you've done the hard work. So publish in a very decent or good journal. Don't get into bad journals. Again, it will disrupt your CV. So be very, very careful. If you can know how to write a paper, you should know what a good journal is from a bad journal. Okay, so be very, very careful. Do not rush. Don't, yes, you are in a pressure to publish. Your management might ask, I need a paper every year, and December you start writing a paper. Then you are in a pressure, but don't, just because of that, do not put it in a wrong journal. And I'm saying everyone does it, and they get caught. So there was one student who came for IIT Bombay interview. Okay, so and he just brought 17 papers to show off that he writes very well. Okay, so he puts in the table of the interview and say, "Sir, I have 17 papers. I look around and I know that some faculty do not have 17 papers." So I was like concerned. How did he do so much work? Maybe he worked hard. So I looked at the papers, and all of them were predatory journals. All, which means all is hard work, but the material was good. Inside the material was good, but he put it in a wrong journal because he wanted to rush. He wanted to show off. And then I asked him, the first question I asked him is, how much did you pay? He said around 2,000 per paper. So that's 34,000 or something. And it was waste. I told him to just delete all this from his profile. So do not rush. I'll show you that thing. The second caution people do is, oh, I have to write. I have to write. I'll just copy paste it. I'll copy paste 5 papers into one paper. Okay, everyone does that. A lot of people does that in terms of making some reports or something, but not for papers. Do not do that. And right now you have plagiarizing, anti-plagiarism software. People search you, and in Google you can just find who said that word. Again, as I said, internet is very powerful. So if you plagiarize, it will affect your university really bad. It will affect your CV very bad. So think, are you submitting to the right journal? Publishing your research is key. So think very, very carefully if you are publishing in a right and reputable journal. We'll go through all of this after I show you how to write a paper, and then we'll check some journals. Okay. Another issue is there. Okay, the tips I forgot to convey. Tips to confirm a journal credential is to decide, help you to make an impact in your career. Okay, which means like if you pick a good journal and you know where these people have been publishing regularly, that can actually help your career. The same thing can happen opposite. If you publish in a very bad, like that student who did, I said no, but then he was ready to acknowledge it, and he said, sorry sir, if this is predatory, but I'm happy to redo all these papers. That attitude was good, and he got his master's in IIT. So the point is, no, if you say no, it is a correct journal, then you get caught. So what are predatory journals? Before we get into things, they just eat through papers and publication fees. Now they know that, okay, everyone is crazy about writing papers. Let's make money out of that. There's a lot of companies that make money out of that. And so there are a lot of librarians who made these lists, which is called, a predatory journal list. And if you look at it, most papers are from India. Okay, so most publication houses where they publish really bad work is from India. So that list is here. We'll go through some of them. Cabell's predatory journal. And then if you look at it, suspected journals are around 1,000 to 10,000, and both of them in combination or in conjunction, they have 228 in common. And then if you check these, whatever they said, if you check those journals, 10,000 of them are okay, and here it is very bad. So the point is, some of these are true, or most of them are true. So you can still check these journals and see if they are correct or not. So there are some people, librarians, you can see here at the bottom. These are librarians who, in their free time, to help students around the world, they check these journals and see if it's legit or not. Okay, so make sure you identify these. And this is the process. Okay, so you start here as a scientist. You write a paper. Okay, you start here as a scientist, you write a paper. Let's go through the regular route. Okay, so can you see my, okay. Okay, so regular route is you don't pay. So please make note, you don't pay initially. No payment is necessary. You give it to a journal. Okay, if the journal finds your paper okay, they publish, but 90% that does not happen. They will send it to a review and they say, no, sir, there are some corrections, do the corrections. So they send it back to you. Okay, receive scientific peer review and high quality publishing, and the review goes back and forth. So then you give the correction again, two times normally, and then it achieves a good quality. So after some corrections, it achieves good quality, and then it goes out as publication. Okay, so you start here, do your work, goes in and comes out, and the reader has to sometimes pay for the article, or it is free. It depends on the subscription. You don't get any money, so you publish, etc., and you can use this in your university, get money, get good jobs. That is your benefit. But for the reader, this is it. Okay, there are open access journals, which means journals that can go freely to the reader, and that you have to pay. Okay, so they'll ask you, you pay only when it gets accepted. So when your research you submit and it gets accepted, then you pay, and the reader doesn't have to pay. So why is this necessary? So that a lot of people get many citations. So if a reader reads a paper, the scientist gets a citation. Okay, and that citation is very important to get jobs. So for example, in top colleges and universities, you should have at least an I index of 10 and H index of 10, which means 10 papers should be published at least 10 times. So that is what I and H are. Please go and check I index, H index. And H is how many papers, how many times they have been cited. So if I have 11 papers cited 11 times, H index is 11. So that is the idea. So if you look at it, you clearly see that this is the legit route. Okay, so whatever you see on the top is the correct route for getting a paper published. The second route, which is the predatory journals most people fall into, is the scientist does the work. He pays, he says, oh, you have to pay a little bit for the journal. They pay, and without even a good review, insufficient peer review and low quality publishing, they don't even review it. As I said, my student one, he submitted in the night. Next week he got it out in the paper. I pulled it down. I said, no, you have to pull it down. So that was a predatory journal. Okay, which means you pay and then you receive, and the reader will still get access to the paper. Okay, he or she gets access to the paper, but it is not a good review, which means this part of reviewing was bad. So anything you write gets into publishing, and they don't have to pay, and it is not even accepted as a good journal. So the reader will take a choice: would he go for a good journal or a bad journal? They'll normally go for a good journal. Okay, so make sure you understand why this is very, very important. You write paper for your university. How does it get a university name? Because when people read it, it's not like you write a paper, it gets published, so the university will get a name. So no, only when readers read your paper citations, the university and the scientists will grow. So my papers, number of papers is not seen in the Google Scholar. You see the citations. Okay, so they don't care about how many paper you write. Are people reading it? Are people reading it and using your paper? Okay, so this is how it is. So make sure that when they ask you strictly to pay, no sir, you have to pay when you submit. Don't worry, next week your paper is out. That is a predatory journal, and then you can put it on the CV. But then it will burn your CV, which means it will negatively impact your career. So don't do that. I'm marking it very, very clearly. Do not check the journal. If the journal is bad, stop it. Go to this route. The other thing I said is this will take maximum 1 week from you writing the paper to publishing it. This will take a minimum of 6 to 7 months, a minimum, which means you have to spend time. This review and all takes time. Okay, so this guy will not do a review. Just within a week, he'll send it back to you saying, sir, correct the put a and English, they'll do the correction. And then you say, oh, the science is good, I'll publish it. So, and then you pay. So that payment, whatever you make, is only for this guy for making money, because all they want is to have a computer and an online subscription to send papers. So be very careful, as I said, and plagiarism. Plagiarism is where I said cut, copy, paste, and I'm not telling like we are doing it. No, no, it is across the globe, and even top people are copying and pasting. Here you could see the Iraq's statements and some things were copied by the UK government. Okay, and this is in BBC News. So the UK government took a postgraduate students, Iraq students' work, cut, copy, pasted it into their document, and say they did the work. So plagiarism is everywhere, which means, and this was late they found it, but they'll find it. Sometimes when they find it early, it will cost your career. There was a Supreme Court order on this too. So we have to be very, very careful on checking the plagiarism. And as I know, there are a lot of universities, like they'll just make five thesis into one, cut, copy, paste, and those kind of things. Thesis is different, papers are different. So make sure you understand. Don't do the same thing here. You will get caught. The importance of research skills, note taking skills, and good citation is a good technique. So make sure you improve that. Where do we stand in India? Study of massive preprint archives hints at the geography of plagiarism. Just if you look at plagiarism alone, you'll see a lot of authors have been flagged. And where is the biggest number of authors? I don't have to point it out. It's Japan, China, okay, and then you have India. So China, as I said, they are crazy about publications. So they will publish really, really, and some of them are very bad, authors. And Japanese, it's sad, but they also have been flagged. So good authors have been flagged, saying that you are in a bad thing. And look at this also. So everyone is doing this, and it's getting caught. So that's the problem. So it's not like, oh, everyone does it, so I'll also do it. No, no, you will get caught. So don't plagiarize your work. Okay. So with this, we will start the how to write and publish. Can I take like 2-3 minutes break? I'll just take some water and stuff.
Yes, sir. You can take some.
Okay. Any questions before we start? I think if you have any questions, it'll be good to check now. I'll just take a minute. Please let me know. You can put it in the chat box. If there's any questions, I can take it up. Don't hold it for the 2 hours. It'll be better if we can clear some things now, because I wanted this to be a very interactive session. So ask questions. Let me know if there's any concern in writing, publishing, etc. Let me check the chat box if there's any questions, and then we'll start.
Students, students, anybody here?
Okay, so
No questions.
okay, so if there's no questions, let's continue. Let me So, art of writing and publishing. So, we teach this very important. One of the courses I teach is communications and writing in graduate school. And as I said, it is very important because you can be a good scientist and researcher, but if you don't write well, then people don't understand it. And if you don't present it well, people don't understand it. So in this discipline, you have to self-learn a lot. Okay, so don't wait for someone to come and show you how to write. You can take some lead, some suggestions I'll give, but you have to do a lot of self-learning. Okay, so art of writing and publishing includes a lot of self-learning. Read many papers. I just want to check with you, if it was a physical meeting, I would have asked how many people read papers, how many papers, what papers, those kind of questions. I urge the university to ask around the students, like what is their reading style, how many papers they read per month, per week, and how many and where, which journals, or even newspapers if you're reading the editorial section of a newspaper. Okay, so those kind of things will develop a reading and writing habit. So read many papers as much as you can. I used to have Saturdays as reading when I was a student. A full Saturday I would read at least 6-7 papers. But again, it depends on you, your time availability, etc. So take notes when you write the paper, read the paper. Take exact notes. Develop creativity, which means and science. So when you take notes, you understand the paper well, and you develop a criteria and creativity, which means like you could think like, oh, why did the author do like this? Why it could have been done the other way? Why did they use this equation? They could use some other equation which is very apt. So those kind of things you can develop. You can criticize, but you don't have to tell the author, but you can keep it to yourself, right? And science, if they use a different scientific equation or a method, you can use a different method. So a lot of papers people do that way, right? They would apply one equation for one experimental setup, then they'll just change the equation and get another equation and another paper. So the same idea but done in two different locations will give you two papers. So it depends on the idea and where you do it, not just on the equation. So that is where the science and application are there. You take notes and then understand the science and think how you can do different, and that could be a paper. Observing the styles and incorporating your own style. I'm not asking you to copy the style. Just look at the words. Don't copy a particular person's style. Observe it, and then make sure that you take it inside and put your own style of writing. So that is very important. Otherwise, if you start copying a person or a particular stream, you will lose your identity. So make sure. Yeah, everyone is a good writer who publish, but have your style, because you'll be more comfortable in that. So when you write something and you like the how you write it, you'll be more comfortable. And again, I'm saying, like, for example, if I wrote a paper in Kerala for soil erosion, someone can come up and say, sir, how is it different in Chennai during the floods? And that could be a paper. So make sure you understand the two differences and how you can come between the differences and take notes. So you don't have to have a scientific idea. By reading, you get scientific ideas. Okay. You don't have to have idea from your own project. You don't have to have idea from your faculty. If students and faculty read papers, you will get more and more ideas. So some papers will finish like this. We found Kerala soil erosion is high, but, and then at the last line they'll say, but we don't know how the erosion is specific in Idiki district or something. Then the next paper, what they could do is, oh, so Kerala is high, but they don't know about Idiki where it is a hot spot. So they can focus a research paper on Idiki. So you see how one paper can lead to another paper. And authors will always give this, places where you can do another paper from using their paper. So don't wait for an idea. If you read, you will get ideas, you will get citation techniques, you will get styles of writing. So that is the first thing, read. Read many papers, keep some references for style and ways of thinking outside the box. So which is just like a diary or a sticky note or just scribbling on the thing. I use the soft editor. Like in PDF, you can also put comments, right? So every paper I read, I put comments saying, "Oh, the author is good, but I could have done it this way." So, and if I have time, I'll go back to the paper and do that paper. Improve on the writing with your own style. Okay. So finding articles in Google Scholar, does everyone know how to find papers in Google Scholar? I'm asking this as a question. Otherwise, we can have a demo right now. Can you please ask around? Do they know how to write? Yes, Miss Rafunisha has asked about plagiarism checkers for thesis writing. I'll share some which are open source. Okay. Any other questions? So do you know how to search in Google Scholar, or can we do a quick demo? So the plagiarism checker we use is Turnitin software.
Yes, sorry, yes,
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. I just got on the chat. I'll do it. So for the plagiarism checking, you have Urkund. You have Turnitin. Okay. Some of them you have to pay. Some of the versions are free. The free versions are good enough for an institution, small institution like yours, I would say. What you can do is it will give you a percentage of copy or similarity index. They won't use the word copy, but they would use a similarity index. So let me stop my screen and share. Then I will share my internet. Yeah. Okay. So if you see here, I'm going to type plagiarism checking. Okay. And you can also say open source. So there are some open sources for plagiarism detection. And as I said, we use Turnitin. It's a very good software to check. And what they do is they give you percentage of how much is copied and with where you have, where was it copied, which exact paper, etc., etc. So you are not even allowed to check copy from your own paper for your information. And you look at that percentage, right? So that percentage you see tells you how much percentage is copied. So 25% is similar. So you can check and it will tell you where the copy has been made. So it highlights and tells you. So there, if you go and edit, then this 25 will become less than 10. For a good paper, you have to have 15%, less than 15% similarity index. And it will give you all the sources where it was copied from the internet. It will tell from the Wikipedia. So those kind of things, make sure you understand. Okay, so that is there. There are some free open source softwares, open source, okay, which is free. So Plagy is one. And you can do some reviews, the 10 free ones you can see here. And then we also have online checkers. So this one, Grammarly is online. Yeah, use Grammarly. I'll just put it in the chat box. So Grammarly, I use quickly. So you just have to paste it here. You can see here, you place your text here, and then it will scan for plagiarism. The only bad thing about this is because it is free and because it is only small thing. You can only do page by page. In Turnitin, you can send the report. Even 100 pages, it will run and give it to you. It's like a model. It will run the model, check the plagiarism, and give it to you. What this does, plagiarism in Grammarly, this software, what it does is you just copy paste something. Okay. It also checks grammar and writing errors. You can scan, and when you scan, it will tell you how many are been associated, but it will not give the source. It will not give you the source. So we can try something that we took from a paper. We can download one paper and then see where things are wrong. So those kind of things we can see. We'll show you right now. Okay, stop. Can you see my screen? Yeah, you can, right? Okay. I'm just opening one paper of mine to just check how much we have. Okay, so just okay. So I'm opening one of the papers, and then we'll just quickly run this checker for you. Can you see my screen? Yes. Share screen. Okay, so let me take part of this, and then you can just copy and then paste it into that other thing. And then I go here, you just have to paste it. And then it will scan for plagiarism, tell you where you have and all those things. Okay, so it will tell you 10 writing issues and where it has been correct, punctuation, etc., and plagiarism also it will tell you. You'll have to set up an account. Google account is okay, and it says significant plagiarism. Anyone tell me why it was significant plagiarism? Why was it significant plagiarism? Because I took a paper which I have already published. They don't know if I'm Pennon. They don't know I'm Pennon. I just took my own writing, which is already published, and put it here. Okay. The other way of checking plagiarism is very quickly. I can do this. I can just take like this, copy, go to Google, and then put your quotations, put it in. So all I did is in Google Scholar, I'm just in Google, I just put it within quotations. Okay, okay. The last lines are bad, I think. So I put it within quotations and I say, and if you click, it will tell like who said it. So here it's already the publication is saying it, which means it's mine. This one is mine publication. So you could actually see like, oh, okay, so this study did it. It is my own paper. So that's how powerful internet is. I just copied one line, put it within quotations and stuff. Okay, so now we've seen some of these softwares which are free and open for checking plagiarism. Now let's look at Google Scholar, how to find papers. Okay, so I'm going to go to Google Scholar. Everyone take note. It is a free software for getting papers, at least the abstract, and learning about papers. Okay, so click Google Scholar. So once you go to Google Scholar, there will be a search box. And this is not a normal Google search where you search for things like movies and reviews and stuff. This is only for publication, only for publication. Okay. So let's take one issue. You were saying something in your region, right? So what is the issue in the region? Anyone? You can put it in the chat box. Environment or rural issue in your region. We can search for papers. What is the issue in your region? Say rural, and this is okay. So I think I have a chat. Okay, yes. So where is your college located? And in that we'll search for some. Okay. Let's see.
Ramnath district.
Okay, yeah, Ramnath district. Okay, and then let's focus on malnutrition. Okay, if I type like this, I just hit Google Scholar. I put this Ramnath keywords, district, malnutrition, and I hit search. Okay, it took 0.03 seconds and 99 results. So 99, only 99 papers. So this is a very good topic that you can work on. And out of the 99, there's a lot of books and fishermen, some only are there. So very less, and Dan Foundation works there, which is very good. I work very closely with Dan Foundation. Okay, so the other thing you can do is, so this is how you put keywords in search. Let's say India. Let's see how we compare. Huh? So let's say India district malnutrition, 75,000 papers. You see here about 75,000. So there is 75,000 papers you can read. But can you read all the papers? No, right? You need to understand which papers to read because you don't have time. So that is the other problem because of this. Because you have access to such kind of papers, you have a lot of internet access to papers, you cannot read everything. Okay, initially you will go into a library, take 2 or 3 papers and read, but now you have 75,000 papers. How do you read? So this is where you need to know how to search. So when you put brackets and minus and plus sign, that will help. Right now, plus sign is outdated. You can use minus. Okay, let's say I don't want Maharashtra. What I did is I want India district malnutrition minus Maharashtra. So I put minus, and if I say search, you see from 75,000, it became 68,000, which means around 7,000, 8,000 papers was from Maharashtra. I can also say minus, let's say Uttarakhand. So now even it goes less. So this is how you could take a search and then you bring it down to limited search. Okay. So now I know, okay, very limited papers I see. If you want to be very specific, as we did, we can look at Ramnath district, just type Ramnath. And then you'll get 99 papers. The second thing you have to do is, there is no point of reading 2004 paper. There is no point. Why? Because science has developed 16 years, 17 years. Science has developed. What is the point of reading a paper 17 years ago? You can understand the history, but if you want to know what is going right now, you have this sorting. Normally, you have to read only the last 5 papers, 5 years paper. So if I click since 2017, so only 2017 papers are there, and look at how many papers, only 13 papers. So which means it is a very good area to do research. Not lot of people have done work here. And if it is a problem in Ramnath district, then people can work on it. Okay, so only 13 results. This is the same thing you can do for multiple themes. It's not only for my theme. Whatever you're working on, physics, chemistry, mathematics, other engineering disciplines, you can work it here. Okay, let's say floods, Ramnath floods. I don't know, floods are common in Ramnath. Okay, so 105 results in the last 5 years. If I say anytime, I'll get 700 results. Okay, so this is also a very less studied thing. Let me see, I'm getting okay, so now joining ICDS program. I don't know. Okay, yeah, so you're joining the ICDS, which is good. So ICDS also we can see if that is available here. Yeah, so the number of ICD centers are good. So they have some papers on it. Only 30 papers are there, including ICDS data and linking them, right? So if I say from 5 years, only 4 results. So this is a good thing you can work on. Okay, integrated child development services with Ramanathapuram. Yeah, so this is how you search a paper. So you can be very specific. You can be very specific saying Ramanath, let's say ICDS, no, malnutrition. Okay. And then you can say, I think my spellings are wrong. Even if your spelling is wrong, don't worry, it will capture it. So Ramanathapuram malnutrition, let's say female. Okay. So now it was 13. When I say females, it comes only 10. Okay, so you can see how female populations are getting affected. Very specific you can come. Okay, so make sure you understand the differences. Make sure you how to use Google Scholar. You can have an account, like how I have an account, just your Gmail is enough. And you can look at my profile, my library, etc., etc. So when you read a paper, for example, I'm reading a paper and I like the paper, I can star it, which means it saves to my profile. I can read it later. So you can go to my library and see how many papers I have to read. So these are the papers I have kept for reading. I have to read. So once I read it, I will, stop and then remove it or use it for me. Okay, so these are the things. How many I cited? These are the papers I have cited. All those things you can look at. You can also download these as a file, delete them if you want, all those things. My profile is again a Google set up my profile. So this is automatic. When I publish a paper, I don't have to come here and put it, automatically comes. So let me show you how it looks like normally. So you go to Google Scholar, right? You type and then you come to this page, Google Scholar. And then you can type the Ramnathpuram, females, floods, etc., malnutrition, or you can type the author. Let me type my name. So when I type my name, you get this authorship. So you can click the author and it will open in a page where it tells about what this author is, like about his assistant professor, etc., and what is his key things he works on. You can come down, you can see all these papers that he or she has worked in. You can cite it by year. So in 2021, only 2 papers till now, but other papers have automatically come. So 2020 was not as good, so people have less papers, those kind of things. You can see how papers are and who I write papers with. All this is automatic. Again, you don't have to do anything. You just have to sign a profile and give an email. From the email, from your name, it will ask you each time a paper. This paper I'm adding, is it your paper? And you say yes, it adds to your paper. Okay. And every year, how many people have used your paper, cited citations. So all this you could do. So please understand that everything is free. So if you can use it, it will be great. Okay. So I think I had some questions. Let me check if I have a question. How to find free journal publications? Yes, that's a good question. I'll come to that. Okay. So you close. Okay. So any questions in Google Scholar, let me know. We will go through it again. I have put those points in the slide. Okay. So let me continue the slide and I'll come to the free publication. So selecting titles, put operators. If you don't want a particular title, put minus sign. So that is where you can see here. And if you want a particular word, that is very, very important. If you want a particular statement, you have to use that statement. Let's say child marriage. Okay. So if I say child marriage, Tamil Nadu. Okay, I have 27,000 results, but child and marriages can be 2 words. Okay, like here, look at this. Marriage is somewhere, child is somewhere. So if you want it in one particular word, then you put quotation marks, which means Google will not break this word. It will not break this into 2 words. Tamil Nadu is broken, child marriage is broken. But now if I put this quotation mark and hit search, from 27,000, it became 4,000, only 4,000 papers. Okay. So that is how child marriage, now you can see child marriage is 1 word. It's not 2 words. Google will not break it. It will not identify papers when it comes marriage. So this is how you search for a paper. Okay. So that's the first part. The second part is you know who the author is. So now I have 2 papers. Which one should I read? Which one should I read? I look at the Journal of Gender Studies and International Journal of Science and Research. So I think the first one, or this one is very good journal, Lancet. Okay, so you would have come across Lancet because now all COVID vaccines, if they're good or not, they have to prove it in Lancet publication. So Lancet is a very good journal. So I would go to Lancet. So that is the first thing I look at. I'll put these indicators and operators. I will fine tune my result. I will come down to here and say what time range I want. Now I have a small set of reading articles. Then what I do is I check who's the authors. This guy doesn't have a Google profile. It's not wrong that you don't have to have a Google profile, but it is better. So if you have a line underneath the name, then that means a Google profile. So if I click, it opens BS Lal's Google profile, but I want Lancet. So I'm going to compare. Okay, so I'm going to click A Raj. So if I click A Raj, he's a university professor in California, and these are his papers themes. And look at his citation, big, very very big. Okay, and if you click here, he's published a lot already. And how many papers? You can come down, all his papers will come. I think it's a he, right? So you can know like how many years he's been publishing and from where. So it still goes on. I think it'll go on forever. Sorry. Yeah, 2009. I think before. So that also tells you how old he is. So he's learning. His first publication was 1995. Okay, Journal of Sex and Marital Therapy. He's been publishing the same until now. So he's a big professor maybe. And then you just go here. You can Google. Oh, it's a she. Sorry, it's a she. And then there it is. Sanita Raj. What was that? California. Okay, so there she is. She's 50 years old, and she also have a Wikipedia page. So she's a famous, scientist. So that is how you can go from a paper to the profile. The second author we selected is B.S. Suresh Lal. Okay, he is from Warangal, and he's published less, much less. And if you click the year, you will know like how many papers he's publishing and when he started. Okay, it's good to have a photograph, but yeah, so he's also started around 1995, same year, but this professor has much more because of, I think she's a full professor. So that is one way to use Google Scholar. Okay, gray literature, how do you know which is legit? So that is where I said, look at the publication where they've published. So we go here back, and you know that when I did the check on when I check the journal, I would know where it is coming from. So this is kind of Sage publications. A lot of people are not going nowadays, but when you come down, we can look at some of these publications which are bad. Okay, one I heard is Science Direct. Okay. Not Science Direct, I think Scientific Research. Yeah, so this one was, so they'll ask you, right? So just type the publisher name, and if you type review, like a movie, okay, type review, you'll come down and people asking, is Hindavi a published, reputable publisher? Okay, who are the published and paid publishers? So that you can find. And if you come to my slide, I think slide number 15, I said Cabell's Predatory Journal and Beale's Predatory Journal. Okay, let's look at Cabell. Cabell. So I'm going to look at one list. It is Cabell Predatory. I don't have to even type the full word. Just Cabell Pre. It comes in Google, and it has a list. So if you click the list, it will tell you which are the published journals and which are predatory journals. Okay. Okay, here it is. The passes 12,000. So 12,000 publications are bad. You can use this to just check if those journals are there in your list. So you can come here. Beale's list is also there. Okay. I don't know where they have the list. Normally they'll have the list when you go in. Let me see if one of these opens. Okay. So these are publishers which have predatory nature. Okay, so there you see. So I've come to Beale's list. Beale's list is one of potential predatory journals and publishers. If you come down, you'll see all these publishers are bad. All of them are bad. You have to check. are they good or not? And most of our Indian guys have these companies. Okay, if you look at where this company is there, we can quickly search. Let's say we can scientific research. I'm just randomly going to click. Okay, and then it will open in pages. See, they don't even have a web page. This one has a web page. Let it open, which means people are buying these papers. See, look at this journal, Kari journals. Okay, straight my account and cart, like book, like it is. It looks like a Flipkart or Amazon. Okay, journals, you don't have this. You don't have this. Only when you pass you have. Okay, and these are the rates. You see, they don't even talk about the journal. They talk about rates. Where do you want to publish? This is the fees. Okay, and one way you could find it out is address. Look at the address. Okay, it's mostly in Africa and all those address. The main address they won't give. They won't give you the main address, and mostly it is in India. Okay, so this is how you can use one of these. You can just randomly check and then see where they are getting published. If they don't have a good website, that is also a key to identify a predatory journal. So this says Asian Pharma Press. That is a journal. Okay, and these are how it looks like. Only payment is big, and then you see conferences, etc. Some kind of weird hand shaking, and then you come to contacts. They won't give the address. So you see, there's no address. There it is. So Asian thing is in Raipur, as I said, India, right? So this is a very bad name for us. And if you go to the address, there's not a publishing house, but a small 1-bedroom apartment. And in that 1 bedroom, 5-6 computers are there. They will sit and collect money from people. They will review the paper and publish it online. Publishing online is free, right? It's like Facebook. You just have to have an account, a web page, and then you can publish. So it's all about submissions and customer rates and online publications, online payments. That's it. Look at the journals. I'm going to click journals, and there are multiple journals, already 5-6 journals, and on medicine, not an ordinary journal. It's on medicine. Okay, so this is on the list. So I'll give this list to you in the chat. Faculties can spread. So put all the hard work in writing the paper, but be very, very careful if you don't use it. Zoom uses no, sorry. So you can use this. Okay, so that is one thing. How to find journal publication, free publication. I'll come to that. So right now, let's do that. Need to close tabs. Okay, so the other question is from Bhuvi Krishna, asking on how to find free journal publications. Okay, so there's something called Journal Finder. I'm just going to type Journal Finder. Okay, and there are 3 key journals which I use: Elsevier, Wiley, and Springer. Let's say Springer. Okay, I click OK, and it says Springer Journal Suggester. I click OK. So I just type Journal Finder. Okay. You have to type the manuscript, etc., etc. So let me just use my own thing for now as a case study. So you have to give a potential title, okay, and then some abstract. They want to know like which journals to give you, okay. So just give that. Oops. So when you write, after you write only, you search for publications, right? So I'm putting that, okay. And then you select an area. You can say it is environment, earth science, and suggest journals. So this is an example I'm giving. So if you go to the top, I've put my topic, some part of my paper, only some part, don't put the full part. Okay, some part of my paper, and you suggested journals, Journal of Indian Remote Sensing, blah, blah, blah. It tells you the impact factor, how many days it takes for first decision, and acceptance rate. So if 100 papers are submitted, only 30 papers are accepted in a year. Okay, so that is very, very good. You can sort it defining that. Now, if I go to refine, okay, all this, it clearly asks you, do you want open access journal or subscription journal? When you click open access journal, you have to pay. Please make a note. if you click open access journal, you have to pay if it gets published, which means mostly not a lot of people have it. I don't have money to $1,000 they'll ask. I don't have that money. So I will click only subscription journals. Okay. So what it means is subscription are people pay for it, like your library pays for it. So now you see all the papers have been reorganized and only the S's are there. So if you see S, that means subscription. Let's click one paper. Okay, I'm going to click on this. It looks at the impact factor, etc., etc. You come down, you can see everything, and there is a publication fee. Look at the publication fee, almost I would say 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs for one paper. My project itself is only 1 lakh. How can I publish for 2 lakhs? It doesn't make sense, right? So, but they give you an option. You don't have to pay if you don't want open access. So make sure you understand that all I did is I search papers and go for subscription papers. If you go open access, you have to pay this open access fee, which is $2,000, $2,700. Otherwise, I just click subscription and I only look at subscription based. Okay. So this is how you find, and you can also find subscription based journals in Taylor Francis and other good journals also. Only thing is you have to put in your abstract here, which you can put in, and they'll give you suggested journals. Okay, and they'll ask you clearly, do you want open access only? Open access means you have to pay. You have to pay. And open access offers open access means there is a choice. You can put open access, or you can ask the subscription to play. So you don't have to pay for all this. If it says offers opening. If it is very strictly open access, you have to pay. Okay, so it's kind of a misnomer, but that's how you do it. Okay, so that question is taken care. Let me go to the next question before we go to. Okay. Yes. So then highlight on reference management tools. I would say, I think Ms. Noorul Samsoon Marafia, when you learn how to write a paper, please don't use the reference management tools, because all management tools will have errors. I use normally Mendeley and stuff, but I tell my students not to use it because they don't know how to cite. So first get at it and then do it. Publishing in Google Scholar has got any specific requirements. Google Scholar is not a publishing, it's just a Google. It searches for you, that's it. Okay, so Google Scholar will give you a list of papers. It doesn't give you, it doesn't publish. It's not a publisher. So let's get it very clear. Google Scholar just gives you the publications. I'm just going to show it again. So if I search myself, Penan Chinnasamy, and I say Scholar, okay, there it is. So it is a Google, just like any other Google thing you search, maps, images, news, etc. It is just a thing. And I'll just go to Google Scholar, like LinkedIn. Okay, so I go to Google Scholar and it only shows my papers. Okay, so it's basically an account where you just have to create an account, and it will automatically, wherever your name and your email matches, it will pull that paper into your account. That's it. Okay, so you have to create an account in Google Scholar and it will automatically happen. Okay, go to the next question. Publishing, okay, that's fine. Guide us to identify the difference among H index, I index, and G index. I'll tell you in Google Scholar format, okay? So H index 14, which means 14 of my papers are cited 14 times. I'll show you the count. 14, 14, right? So let's count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 papers have been cited 14 times. If I go to the next one, which is 15, this has to be cited 15 times, and all the other papers have to be 15, at least 15. Then H index will become 15. I means how many papers are cited at least 10 times. So 18 of my papers have been cited 10 times. If you just click on this, you will get that also. So just go to your pointer. H index is the largest number H, such that H publications have at least H citations. So if you have three publications and two of them have 20 citations, then your H index is 20. Okay, so 20 papers you have to have 20 papers cited 20 times. But if it is I index, if you come here and click, just hover a little bit, it will tell you what I index is. It is number of publications with at least 10 citations. That's it, very straightforward. If you have 5 publications and 3 of them have 10 each, at least 10 each, then your I index is 3. Okay. In the same way, H index is how many papers have been cited, how many times. If you have 10 papers and all 10 papers have 10 citations, it is 10. Normally that doesn't happen. Only 1 or 2 or 10 you'll have. So then it will be 2. Your H index is 2 because only 2 papers have been cited. Okay. So that is the question about how to identify H index, I index, and stuff. How far content on Google Scholar is authentic? Very good question, T-Back College. Google is Google, right? It gives you everything. Same like searching for this. I want used car sellers in Mumbai. Is my search in Google? Okay, Google is a business, so it gives you all the good ones, the bad ones. Everything is here. How many search items are there? Around 15,000, 15 lakh or 15 crores. Yeah. That's a lot. 15 lakh sellers in Mumbai for used cars. Are all of them good? No, not all of them are good. Same Google Scholar. Okay, it will pull everything. It will pull predatory journals. It will pull everything. Like my student who I said, na, Aman Srivastav. Okay, I don't know if he has a project proposal yet. No, I don't think so. This is a different Aman, but yeah. So if I just type this name, I get 256. Google will not tell you what is legit and what is not. They don't want to take liability. So you will have to go into each one and then check which one is good and not. Okay, like this one, I really don't know. Is that a good journal or is I don't know, maybe. So all you do is go here, click, it will open to a page, and then you will look into the journal and then look at the review. So there's 2 steps. Okay, you go here, look at this paper. This paper looks fishy. Okay, West Bengal, Aroviza. So let's search for the journal and then we'll know, yeah, this is a bad journal. Nah? Look at it. 1, 2, 3 pages. 3 pages journal, Oriza. Okay, Oriza is a journal name. So that is a bad journal. You can clearly even tell. You don't even have to go search for journal. Okay, it says indianjournals.com and it doesn't look legit. You can say review. And then people have said some things about it. Okay, so make sure you understand that it's a short communication. Maybe that is why it's 3 pages. But check. I might be wrong. So just check like this. Go to here, check, and then see where it is. So you should understand that Google will give you everything. You cannot trust all. You will have to do one more work on it. And that is how they guys are making money, right? Other people are making money. Okay. How to register under ResearchGate? So you just have to create an account. Go to ResearchGate, create an account, and then you will get all these good sites. So let me show you how it works. In ResearchGate, you click add an account, okay, those things, and then you will get notifications. If you look at this button, I just clicked and said you have a new citation for one of your paper 4 days ago. So I'm keeping track. I don't have to do it. I don't have to update my account. It does it automatically. And you just have to say where, show me how it's been cited. So if you look at it, it has 29 citations, and this is how they cited. They said few studies have used groundwater on Indian context, like Chinnasamy et al. 2013. And if I need to read the paper, I go here and click the paper to see who wrote the paper. So Eddie Moore's, HB's, all these guys are big guys in Wageningen University. They've written something on South Asia, and one of my papers is cited. So good. So that's a good feeling, right? Your paper is getting accepted in international standards. So this is how you have to do, and just create accounts. All this is free. Go to researchgate.com and just create an account. You will see all these good things on your site. Okay. The next question before I jump into, okay, so there's no more question. Let me finish the remaining slides so that we have enough time for more questions. So as I said, plagiarism is hard, don't do it. Gray literature is bad literature. Check if it is a good literature that you are citing and using. Authors check if they're relevant. Publishing often, and authorship, first author, are they the first author, last author? Check that, okay, before you writing. Okay, so with this, I would like to jump into writing basics. Very, very short description on how to write a paper. Because again, I teach this as a course. I teach this as a course over one semester. So right now I can only give a introduction to this in a workshop. It's not a one-day workshop. It is only 2 hours, right? So I'll just crash something very short. Please take as much note as you can. The structure of the paper, title has to be very concise, current, and good tense. Okay, right now, because title is very important, people search for title, not for the content. If the title is catchy, they will read your paper. Again, please understand, you are writing not for yourself but for people. If people read your paper, your acceptance goes up. So abstract, check the word limits, 250 words, no citations in the abstract, and break it up into a couple of sentences. 2 sentences for the introduction, 2 sentences for objective, 3 on methodology and results. This is how an abstract should look. Because you have only 250 words, make sure you use good use of it. Then you break the paper into different chapters. It is virtual chapters. You don't tell that this is one, etc., but you break the paper. Okay. So the first chapter would be introduction, where 4 paragraphs you have to have. The first paragraph introduces the topic to the world. It could be COVID vaccine. I'm talking about COVID vaccine. What is these stages in the world? So that the first paragraph can say. So my idea, my paper would be COVID vaccine developed from fish products. Okay, let me say, I'm just randomly saying COVID vaccine developed from fish products. So that is my paper's title. The first paragraph will talk about COVID vaccine research methods in the world. The second would tell like what are the goods and bad things that others have done using this COVID vaccine, and what are the methods they use. That's the pros and cons, and the need statement. And the need, I would say that there is no fish-based vaccine, or the efficiency is very less. We need a very high efficient vaccine, and this fish-based vaccine could be the answer. Okay, 3 again, all this could be true. I don't know, because I think most of you, the lipstick you use has a lot of fish products in it. Please understand, all these people use fish and other things for different reasons. We don't know, we never know, but that is the truth. Okay, so second paragraph, pros and cons, need statement. Third paragraph is what is need to be done in your study, in your site, in your country, etc. So that is your introduction. If you look at the introduction, it's like storytelling. I start with what COVID vaccine is. I introduce what people have been doing. And then I say what are the issues in their methods. That is why. And then the final part is because they are doing this and it's wrong or it's not good enough, I'm doing this kind of research. So that is your introduction. What you will do in the study. So now you've said what others did not do. And then the final paragraph is what will you do, and that is what you will be doing in the study. So that is your introduction chapter. The second chapter, and this is called a string theory. The last point, as you see, it is a string theory. You start with 1 point, you go like a string, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And if you come to 4, what you'll do in the study will come back to the first, saying that, okay, of these studies done in the world, mine will be different. Unless there's no difference, what is the point to publish? Okay, so the publisher will ask, everyone knows about this kind of vaccine, you don't have to publish. So don't get into that topic. Then chapter 1A, the last one after the introduction, is objective. So now you've said what you're going to do. What is the objective for that? Primary objective just mentioned. So my objective would be, not a lot of people have done vaccines from fish products. I'm going to do one. Secondary, tertiary, other, etc. Experimental setup, method, study site is your second chapter. So now you told your objectives. What is the methodology you're going to use is your second chapter. Make sure you cite well in your first and second chapter. Your first chapter should have a lot of citations. I will tell about what that is in the end. So chapter 2 and 3 is your setup and your methodology, what subsections, models, equations, data collected, etc., statistics, all those is your methodology. And same results for your fourth chapter is results. If you look at chapter 3 and chapter 4, it should be the same subheadings. So for example, if I say rainfall, groundwater, tank water is in my methodology, my result should also have groundwater, surface water, tank water, because those are the subheadings under which I have results. Because the methodology did it, I'll have results. And discussion is you discuss about your results, which means I found that my vaccine is good, it is better than XYZ, okay, so which others have done. So that is where you discuss 3 to 4 paragraphs about your results, summarize and link them together. Compare with past studies and their credibility. Where do I get the past studies? Anyone? I get the past studies because I read papers. Okay, so that is where when you read papers, not a lot is just for reading. A lot of times you also create a database of papers that you use for your own paper. So I have, we call it like the holy books of for each researcher. So I have like 10 papers where I'll cite them extensively. Anything I do, I know I will cite Molan and Schumacher for groundwater, because they've done so much work. Freeze and Cherry for groundwater. All my papers will have Freeze and Cherry citation. So which means they've done so much. So those are the database I've created. Make concrete statements for concluding and validate against past papers. Cite heavily. So in your papers, where you put citations is important is introduction and discussion. So in your introduction, you would say, right, XYZ did this study in COVID, they did that study and they did not do well, etc., etc. So you already cited like say 20 papers in your introduction. In your results, you can bring those 20 again in a different context, saying my results are this better. My results are saying 97% efficiency compared to 20% efficiency in other countries. Okay. So those kind of citations you can bring from your introduction into your conclusion and discussion. And the last chapters is a lot of limitations. Name some limitations if there's any. Don't overdo your limitations. If you say that my methods are good, but it doesn't work, my data is bad, then your paper will be rejected. You can only give little bit of limitations. You know, because of time constraints, I could not buy data, or because of lab facilities, I could only do 10 tests. I could not do 30 tests. Those kind of things. Accept the limitations, defend them. Don't accept and say, I'm sorry, my paper doesn't look good, but please accept my paper. No, they will not accept. Defend it, saying that even though my results are low, my tests are low, I am defending it. So defend your papers and cite others. How you defend is, you have to defend and say, okay, they cited and I cited, those kind of things. Future directions, learn from limitations, propose future projects, your own second paper. Okay, so now when you tell limitations, let's say for example, Ramnath, I said I covered Ramnath district, but I didn't cover Ramnath rural areas. That is my limitations, I say. But I've already indirectly and trickily said someone has to do the rural part of Ramnath, and that I will myself do. So I have 2 papers now. If I wrote one paper for whole Ramnath district without limitations, I'll have only 1 paper. But now Ramnath urban I've done, but I didn't do rural. I put that in the limitations, and there you go. I will do my future paper on Ramnath rural regions. And chapter conclusion is to conclude in simple terms, rephrase your objective. So you already gave your objective, right? So you have to rephrase the objective in simple terms to conclude your objectives again. We found that this vaccine is better using fish products. Check your hypothesis. You used a hypothesis, check if it is correct or not. Conclude and then future remarks. So make sure that you have it in a very string theory, like introduction, your objectives, methods, results, discussion, and conclusion. So you just conclude in a very short manner. Conclusion chapter is very, very small, 1 paragraph, no citations. You don't have to have citations in conclusion. Just conclude. Okay, with all this, I conclude that we did this as an objective, and this is our understanding. The last part is very, it's decent part. You have to acknowledge, those people who have given you time, data, money, university, always university bring them in, saying that we thank the administration, we thank the principal for supporting us for this paper, all those kind of things. It looks very professional. If someone's reading your paper, they will say, oh, this person is nice. They have thanked everyone. It doesn't take long to thank. So thank everyone. And references follow one style. I think one faculty or person asked me a question, which software to use. You can use any software. Mendeley, Zotero is good. Zotero I used a lot. But be careful if the citation is correct. Okay, because sometimes they will change the first to last name. Zotero is again a software. It doesn't know which is first name, last name. But if the author is not correctly writing it, Zotero will mistake it. Okay, so make sure you understand Zotero is just a software. Everything is a software, which means gigo. Gigo we call in computer terms, garbage in, garbage out. So if you give garbage to a computer program, it will spit garbage out. Okay, it cannot differentiate. So that is where I'm saying Zotero and etc. At a learning stage, don't use it. But when you are a very advanced stage, it helps. Which means if you're writing 50 papers, 30 papers per year, you have to use a software mechanism. If you're only writing 1 or 2 papers, I think it's better not to use. Google Scholar is better. I'll show you how to take citations from Google Scholar. Okay, so okay. Okay, so I have typed a particular topic that I am interested. I searched and I said anytime no, I want only recent. Okay, only cite recent publications. As I said, don't go for old, very old papers. Okay, so it says, and then how do you pick? So I have these number of papers. How do I pick? Is first by looking at the authors and by how many times it's been cited. Cited 19 times, 29 times. No, I want something. Yeah, 63. 63 is a good number, right? Like above 50 people are cited. So I will read this paper. Okay. And when I'm reading it, the citation style, etc., add Mendeley. So Mendeley is free, it will come. You can also say cite and then download the citation. But Google is very sweet. It gives you a citation here. Just click this cite. It will give you at least 5 to 6 styles. All you have to do is copy, click this, copy, and you're done. So you can easily copy paste it into your writing. I'll just show you here. Okay, there it is. Your citation comes. So follow only one style because your journal will have that particular style. And if you go back to your citation, so if you go back to your citation, it will tell you which style it is: MLA, APA, Chicago, Harvard, or Vancouver. Okay, you can download it into your citations. I think if you're using Word, EndNote is good, but I use Zotero. Zotero is pretty good because I spent a lot of time using Zotero. So I don't want to learn another software. That's it. I know EndNote is good, but Zotero I've learned, so I don't have to waste time on learning new software. So click Cite. It will give you the styles. I just have to click copy, paste. Okay, and then let's see. I'm going to go to the next one. Okay, next citation I have is. And then you go here. There's 10 pages, but as you go next page, the relevance of the paper is limited. Okay, so if you come, it is not as good. So let's say, okay, I want this Singapore as a case. I want this. So I'll go to citation and then look at this. It asks you the same thing and you just click which one you want and then you can put it here. So the point is the style is good now. The first author is correct. Still you have to check. Okay, and then the second author and then the hyphen, colon. If you make these kind of mistakes, the publisher will not publish your paper. Your science can be good, but if you don't know how to cite a paper, they'll ask you a simple question. This person doesn't know how to cite a paper. How can he write a paper? Okay, so make sure you understand that difference. Yeah. Okay. And so that is how references and stuff are very important. Follow one particular type. So to conclude my topic today, research, publication, and projects are very important. Research leads to publication, publication leads to projects. Okay, and projects brings you more research. So it's a cyclic loop. Do some research. Sometimes you don't have to have money to do research. Just online paper reading, programs, etc., can work in my discipline at least. So make sure you have some kind of research program, and publications are very important. University growth, it helps university growth directly, and university growth is also linked with faculty growth. So if faculty grow, university grow. So make sure that linkage is and bond is created. Understand predatory journals, and because of the growth and stress, don't publish in predatory journals. Understand that publishing is important, but if you publish in a wrong place, it will hurt your progress. So don't do that. Students are key and contributors for publications. So use your student. I say that is the strength. If you look at my career in my NGO world, before I joined IIT Bombay, I used to publish 10 papers a year. Okay, that was my average, 10 to 12 papers a year I used to publish. After joining IIT, any guesses? My publication the first year was 0. No papers, not even a single paper I could publish. The second year, 2 papers. Okay, and then it picks up because I have to train people. I have to train my team to write papers, which takes a lot of time on my time. So I cannot write a paper. But once I train my team, my students, then I have right now I have 12, 15 students, yeah, including postdocs and stuff. I have 15 students. So each one of them, if they write 1 or 2 papers, then my publication is going to go 30 in 1 year very soon. So it's an investment. Okay, students take time. It is an investment. So I'm putting down that investment, and they're writing papers. But my papers are a hit, but that is how faculties are. So writing style, methods are important as a science. So make sure your writing style and your methods are very important. Publicize work that has been successful and not, which means if your work is success, like my COVID vaccine is success, I have to publish it. If it is a failure, still publish it. Why? So that people know what is the limitation. People know that, okay, this person has done it. Unfortunately, it didn't work, but he or she knows why it didn't work. I've documented it, why it didn't work. Okay, so that is also good, because it's those days we don't know. Einstein had 3,000 theories, 3,000 plus theories. Only 2 or 3 got success. Okay, so we cannot take fail. So, but the failures helped him to make the success. That's what he said. So make sure you also have a record of whatever unsuccessful events you had, and that could also be a paper. Okay, so that no one else does it. So with this, all this is good not only for your faculty growth, etc., but it helps the scientific community. You train students, the students train others, the faculty grows, the university grows. So it is a cyclic loop, and again, the science gets better. So I hope this was clear. I think 11:30 was my time. So thanks all. I would like to thank Principal for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Kasim Khan, who introduced myself to others, and all those who have organized this wonderful event. Thank you, and I'll be happy to take questions. My email is here, so if you need, you can email me in that email. So any questions, please do let me know.
Students, do you have any questions?
And Ms. Sheel has asked a question on why Zotero is better. I just picked Zotero because the plugins are very easy. In Google Scholar, I can have plugins for Zotero. I can directly download it into my library. I've used both, and I find Zotero better. That's all I would say. And citations, libraries, everything is much better in Zotero, at least for me. There are people who have different actions. It's like a car, right? Some people like Suzuki, some people like afford. I don't know. So it's a free open software. Anything can work. So try both. Any questions? Please put in the chat. Let me turn off my stop sharing.
Any queries from staff side? Do you want to ask any question? No queries, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for enlightening the gathering, sir. Now we are at the end of this workshop. So this is the time to thank the leader gathered here. May I now call upon Mr. Srimati, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, to propose the vote of thanks. Glory is to the Almighty, every Bhagavan Chandra present here. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks for this year to all assembled here. First of all, I would like to thank me with us organizing this event. My wholehearted thanks the Honorable Madam Principal, Dr. S. Sumaya Garu, for her moral guidance. Thank you, ma'am. I sincerely thank our resource person, Professor Penny Chinsami, Director, Rural Data and Research and Analysis Lab, IIT Mumbai, who handled the function while enlightening us with this knowledge. Thank you, sir. I extend my thanks to Vice Principals, Admin and Academic, Dean of Arts and Science, Cultural Examinations, all the HODs and my dear colleagues for your support. Thank you, Ram. I extend my thanks to all the students who participated enthusiastically. Thank you, students. I convey my thanks to our blue collar workers, electricians, technicians. You have made the best arrangement for this program. Finally, I would like to thank our committee members who must be very supportive of this program and has made a valuable contribution in making this workshop a success. Once again, thank you all. Thank you.
Mr. Sendil, is it over or should I wait?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Your principal said she's in a meeting. I'll talk to her later. Thank you. Bye.